Mike Ziff got to examining the relationship between mercury and infertility and the scientific literature. He dug out all of the studies that have been done over half a century, showing that mercury causes failed ovulation, hypermenorrhea, hypomenorrhea. The eggs don't drop. They're infertile. The sperm are damaged. They got two-headed sperm, two-tailed sperm. A whole bunch of bad stuff happens if you're exposed to mercury. And so he wrote a whole book on it. Dr. Gerhard would have a big seminar room that had 450 women would come annually. And when she read Mike Ziff's book, Infertility and Birth Defects, she said, well, if mercury's causing infertility, I can check that. So when all the ladies showed up, they handed them a couple of tablets of DMPS and a glass of water and a jug, and they said, take this and pee in there and hand that in 6 hours. So all the ladies that peed a lot of mercury after they were given a chelating agent for mercury were sent on down to the dental clinic, and they had all their amalgams removed carefully. And within the following 12-month cycle, they had 80% spontaneous fertility with no intervention. And actually, they put them on birth control pills for 6 months because they noted that the blood level of mercury continues to drop for at least 6 months after all your amalgams are removed. So they wanted the blood level to be really low so that the fetus is not exposed. And like I said, 80% of them became spontaneously pregnant without any other intervention. That makes it the single most effective way to make infertile women fertile. After I read Mike Ziff's book about infertility and birth defects, about 1990, a young lady applied for the job of my front office receptionist and manager. And my wife, Betty, and Cammie were just sitting chatting on the couch, and they got to talking about how many staff members I'd had over the years, because they move away because they were a wife of a Navy guy, or they get pregnant and have babies and all that stuff. And Cammie said, well, I won't be getting pregnant because I'm infertile. And she said, we've spent over $10,000 trying to get me pregnant, and I can't. So Eddie and I will just be childless. So when I had my mercury sniffer, I measured the amount of mercury in her intraoral air, and it was over 100 parts per million. OSHA will shut down a factory. You're supposed to flee if it gets over 100 parts per million, even instantaneously. Well, she was over that every time she chewed. And so one of the few benefits of working for me was none of my staff had any mercury fillings in their teeth. And so if they wanted to get rid of them, I got rid of them. So we got rid of her mercury fillings. And I told her, like the Gerhard thing, to go on birth control pills because, you didn't want the kid to get pregnant while she was, still detoxing. And nobody ever listens to me, but okay, so she got pregnant and had twins. And then she said, oh, that's just a fluke. And so after the twins got old enough, she came back to work for me some more. And then, boom, she had to go away again and have little Mackenzies. Another assistant I had, her husband divorced her. He said he wouldn't be married to a barren woman. And like I said, one of the few benefits of being in my practice is you don't have any mercury fillings in your teeth. So we took all the mercury out of her teeth, and she had to marry her second husband. They have 3 children now. And so it's quite a pleasure for her, but she's no longer a barren woman. A third lady, I think she read something about mercury and infertility, and she wasn't even from San Diego. She drove down and wanted to know if I'd take her mercury fillings out, and I said, sure, have a seat. And we arranged to have her fillings removed and did it carefully. You have to protect them. You can't expose them to mercury when you take the fillings out. And she came back with her baby on her shoulder and a picture of the kid and said, hey, look, it worked. And so I like to say I have 6 children. None by me, but because I helped 3 infertile ladies have them by getting rid of the predominant source of human exposure to mercury.